Everybody, it's Victor. It's time for another Eden Run here, the Binding of Isaac Victor Repentance Plus series. Happy Monday, Mosh Pit. We have ourselves a new like streak goal down below. And like I said in the previous video, it's going to be something a little bit different than we've ever done before. So I got an idea from watching a friend Subathon stream on Twitch where he was basically drawing Pokemon from memory without having any sort of reference point to look at, and I figured why not do that for Isaac items that chat gives me. We could do it on a stream. It'd be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's a little bit silly, a little bit different, but I figured I wanted to try this just to see A, how accurate I could be, and B, because it's, like I said, it's just something different than like an Isaac challenge or a tier list or something like that. And if the Mosh Pit doesn't like it, then we'll just try it something else. That's a nice thing about the new like streak goal. So yeah, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a live stream and then have chat start to read me off items, and I'll see if I can draw them from scratch in MS Paint to stream that, and then who knows, maybe you'll do like an actual real sketch card or something like that to give away towards the end. So here's your meme of the day / screenshot of the day. It's brought to you by Battle Muffins. Great name, by the way, on the Invicta subreddit. Title thread was the Binding of Hallway, and then in the thread they said had this map generation, just thought this was kind of crazy and wanted to share. Yeah, that is easily the largest Isaac hallway I think I've ever seen. Like by far. I've had a couple of doozies, but never anything like that. Thank you very much, Battle Muffins, and everyone who upvoted that one. See, today is going to be Kilo 7 0 Romeo Juliet 0 Yankee Whiskey. We've got just the worst possible tears rate you could imagine, but we do also have Skinny on Mushroom. Did I say tears rate? I meant damage. Yeah, 1.67 damage is not good. It's not good at all. Let's see if we can get this tinted rock over Meow. There we go. Gonna blow up the other barrels here. So I am gonna pick up this Soul Heart immediately. And what's nice about having Skinny on Mushroom is if we needed to start off with bad damage, at least give us a high tears rate, right? Which is exactly what happened. We're starting off with Curse the XL too, which I'm not too happy about, but at least we have a world card, I guess. And honestly, the D12 is great. Big fan of the D12, the D Twizzle. I think that is an item that can carry you if you get lucky enough and you get good enough spawns for blue fires and whatnot. Look at that, got ourselves another Soul Heart. I tell you what. And of course, with it being on the XL, on an XL floor, that means this is gonna be a great D12 room too. With this being on an XL floor, that means that we're technically on floor 2 right now. So it's imperative that we do get our Devil Deal, and let's hope that we don't get Curse the Blind on the next floor as well. It's going to be pretty difficult for the game to take away our Devil Deal here. We would have to go through a monumental collapse for me to take red heart damage on this floor. Another tinted rock. Lots of tinted rocks to start off with. But yeah, going back to the like streak goal again. I know it's technically it is Isaac related, but it's just something different. I want to start incorporating some more creative and more, I don't know, just fun and silly like streak goals, because I've done the Isaac challenges. I've done the crazy ones. I did a TM trainer week. Just nothing but TM trainer starts, and it's hard to go. It's hard to keep escalating from there. Whereas with these silly ones, we could do like the eye tracker challenge. We could do the draw from memory challenge. And if the Mosh Pit likes that, then I can start thinking of other ideas, or even get some requests from the Mosh Pit itself. I am going to buy this half-price Soul Converter, and I'm going to get a couple of full charges on it, mainly because we want to have a cheaper Devil Deal if we can get one, assuming that we actually get a room with combat in it. Not every day you hear me asking for combat, but yeah, this is a problem in terms of our damage, but the base is there, like the foundation is here, right? We have all the benefits of soy milk, and we have all the disadvantages of soy milk, and only one of the benefits, which of course is the tears rate. But thanks to Skinny on Mushroom, it also of course contributes to the fungi transformation, and it also gave us a movement speed upgrade, which I'm obviously using here a lot. And it's something that we haven't had for a little bit now, was decent starting movement speed. 1.67 is bad. However, unlike soy milk, we do not have to worry about the damage down coefficient from having soy milk, because this is Skinny on Mushroom. And unlike soy milk as well, it does break the tears cap. I mean, it breaks the tears cap. Obviously, soy milk is more tears, but soy milk still has a cap. Skinny on Mushroom, since the last patch, will actually go over that, and it's great. It's honestly, it turns Skinny on Mushroom from an already great run or great item into a very, very great item. Oh, I keep trying to say run. I am going to go back here and take the D-Twizzle, though, because I think the D12 is just a slightly better item for us. And we will get one more roll. I'm hoping that we can get that Tinted Rock, or maybe just get one in here. That'd be nice. We'll get one more roll in the D12. We can't go into that secret room yet, because, again, we don't have a bomb. We got Juicy Sack. I didn't want Loki's Horns. Loki's Horns are okay if you have a tier effect already, but for it to be your only tier effect, it can cause some problems early game, particularly when whenever you're trying to control your outgoing damage. You know, if you end up getting Loki's Horns and then, like you see Death's List, for example, then you're probably not. I mean, you're still going to take it, but it's gonna really lower the effectiveness of Death's List just because of your inability to control all the shots, especially when they proc. Juicy Sack really hard counters Dingle here. Juicy Sack is one of those items that you don't really appreciate until you have it. And being able to have a guaranteed slowing creep field that is behind Isaac that has no diminishing returns at all is very, very powerful. Especially against charging enemies like Chubb, Dingle, Gertie Jr., Chad, you know, those type of enemies. Even great for Globins. But this fight's taking forever and a day, again, because of our low damage. I'm hoping that we just get straight-up damage upgrades here. Very early and very often. There we go. And we get an HP upgrade. All right. The old Dookie. Thankfully not a champion Duke, but we don't have a bomb. We have no real burst damage here. We're just going to have to be a straight-up dogfight here with the fly generations. But, yeah, going back to the Like Street goal, just give me other ideas that you would like to see. If the Mosh Pit's down for this one, you know, maybe we can expand it to, like, draw Isaac bosses from memory, or like I said, maybe I try my hand at doing an actual sketch card. That's one of the rewards that I had for September in Twitch. Pax Ignis, a member of the Mosh Pit on Twitch, won a one-of-one sketch card that I drew. Well, technically I haven't drawn it yet, but I'm planning on drawing it. And you know, I like doing that kind of stuff there too, because I'm not an artist. We do get bombs here, but we get 2 bombs. But definitely not what we wanted. We got no stats, and yep, gonna continue to get no stats there. Okay, let's roll this big room here first. Okay, so we didn't get anything there. Secret room we're gonna go into. Got 2 soul hearts. Man, we have a ton of HP right now. Absolute ton. We get a world card, which is going to be a crawl space. Guaranteed crawl space. Might as well use that now. Adrenaline. Only thing Adrenaline's really good for is if you're running a low life build, or if you have like you have Blood Oath or something like that, it can be okay. But for the most part, I just use it as an excuse to get the Spun transformation. Probably should have rolled that one there too. If there is combat, we could potentially get that bomb chest and key. Oh, there's another Tinted Rock in here. Good. I've never seen this many Tinted Rocks on one floor. Even though technically it's 2 floors still. All the same, that's an impressive amount of Tinted Rocks. As long as we get combat in one more room, and we're going to get one more crack at that chest, bomb, and key. Super secret room is there, by the way. All right, so let's go see if we can get it here. We just need 1 exploding barrel, and we're happy. There we go. Of course, it did lock the chest behind a lock here. There's also a button. Gives a chest and Filigree Feather. Interesting now. Okay, so the Filigree Feather is very interesting here because this allows us to possibly go for some Sacrum Shuffle, especially Sacrum Shuffle plays, especially with us having so much HP that we can just tear through, and really get some good benefits here. The Filigree Feather is a trinket that will give you an Angel Deal item instead of you getting a key from an Angel Deal statue or from an Angel statue. saved your life there, Demon Judgment. You owe me. There you go. You see Adrenaline helping us out a little bit here, and I'm just going to use it. We need a damage upgrade here, Demon Judgment, so... Okay. Not a damage upgrade. It's Contract from Below, which is a good item, but not what we're looking for. At least Adrenaline can give us a little bit of damage. If you don't know what Adrenaline does, by the way, it makes you deal more damage the lower your red heart HP is. Which, you know, in this situation, yes, we needed it. We needed it really bad, so I'm not going to complain here. So, and a very kind of unhinged start, but not a bad start, not a good start. It's just a start. It's an XL floor start. All right, well, there's a sack room, but now, of course, we don't have the full benefits of the sack room shuffle because now we have to worry about Curse the Unknown, and I don't know how much HP we actually have. I think we have 10, but 3 of the hearts are empty, so yeah. But we go on to last week's Question of the Episode, the return of Question of the Episodes after I took a little bit of a hiatus from going into the comment section. And this one coming in from Patrick is me 438, who said, question of the episode here. Actually, no, I take that back. It's from Blazing X Flame. Sorry. Well, shout out to Patrick anyway. Blazing X Flame said, question of the episode. 1 second. Gotta be cautious here. Question of the episode, which boss was the hardest to learn? If you could make a boss difficult, how would you... or if you could make a boss, how difficult would it be? The hardest boss to learn was probably Mother. I know people want to say Delirium, and Delirium's only difficult because he's so buggy. But yeah, I mean, Delirium is difficult in its own right, but it's totally random. You have no idea what you're going to get out of Delirium. But Mother, on the other hand, has some very irritating mechanics, and also you got to pay close attention to what she's doing, just like any boss, but more so on Mother, especially with her all the projectiles that she produces. It can be quite overwhelming. As far as making a boss goes, I would make a boss pretty difficult. I wouldn't want my boss to be cheap. Like, I wouldn't want there to be like, oh, he can all of a sudden gets a speed boost or an attack boost or something like that. I would want a little bit more thought into it. But I do think that if I were to make a boss, I would like there to be some sort of incorporation of a second phase that isn't all combat. Now, some players may not like that if I decided to say, hey, you know, there's going to be like a pushing buttons phase or a pattern recognition phase or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a designer because it might slow down the runs or anything like that. But I do think that having a little random element of, you know, you have to pick the right door to attack, and if you don't, based on like little tiny subtle hints, then you end up fighting like a phantom boss that is not the true boss, that sort of thing. I think that sort of stuff would be interesting. And then of course there has to be a bullet hell phase. There has to be sort of like a you know, a crazy positional phase where you gotta kind of treat it like a World of Warcraft raid boss and not stand in the circles or stand in the safe circles, that sort of thing. I think that'd be fun. So you're trying to do that clown physics stuff. We did get a nice Tears upgrade here, courtesy of Wire Coat Hanger, and as you see there, we have 5.52 damage. Our Tears rate, which is still higher than our 4.49 damage. But all the same, very happy that at least we got some type of damage upgrade out of Small Rock. Even though it does kill our movement speed a little bit, still worth it in this case. But Curse the Unknown is going to prevent us from playing that Sack Room Shuffle. I was kind of hoping that we're going to get like a fire or something. Red Poop also works. It will one-shot most of the chunks off of Fistula. You have to forgive my voice today as well. It's even scratchier than it has been in the last couple of days because I just got done recording today's Mega Bonk video, which you have just seen. The video was almost 2 hours long. Go maul the Vizoid here. What was in our item room? It was something bad. Oh, it was, I think it was Lil Loki. Yeah, the game's mad that I didn't take Loki's Horns. And could we have pushed it with the sack room for the sack room shuffle? Maybe, but you just never know in that case. I mean, we did take a little bit of damage in the challenge room, so I wasn't really feeling all that enthused about it. And I'm not gonna give the game the satisfaction of causing us undue harm just because it decided to give us a Curse the Unknown when we articulated our plans, knowing that we were gonna go get the Filigree Feather and then go make a play on the sack room shuffle. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna let the game get its jolly laugh off. Go to the item room here. Maw of the Void, of course, is a great upgrade for us. Scales very well with damage. It does a pretty good tier effect that has a few synergies, particularly with homing. And it's just one of those items that you can hard carry from the moment you get it up till the end, and it keeps you safe as long as you don't get baited into problematic positioning, which is where I sometimes find myself with Maw of the Void. I tend to force the use when I really don't have to, but I do it anyway because it is such a good item. And it also serves as our primary source of DPS right now. It just does more damage than any of our tiers could. Take the Bible here. We could go for the Satanic Bible again, and I think we should because of the Filigree Feather play. Get a Joker card. I'm gonna wait on the Joker card because if there is a Sacrum Shuffle, I want to play it first before giving up all of our HP. The Sacrum Shuffle right now is the priority because of the Filigree Feather. So we got Blood Bombs here, so bombs are no longer a problem. Canonically, I'm gonna start referring to these as bloms. So just letting you know, it's the birth of a new Sinvictism. You all heard it live because I accidentally misspoke there. I accidentally misspoke very briefly there, as I was going to try to say blood bombs and then ended up trying to say bombs at the same time. So now they are known as bloms. But we can use bloms here to lower our HP and activate adrenaline should we run out of our regular bombs. Once we run out of bombs, we can start using blood bombs, and that will cost us HP instead of just bombs. That's why they're bloms. See, there's a genius behind every creative thing I do, or something. I don't know. That's what a textbook narcissist would say. Okay, the Seagram's got to be here. If it's not here, then you know what, game? You win this map. Just give me a Sacrum Shuffle, though. You might think that I'm sort of overvaluing the Filigree Feather play, but I'm telling you, it's so much extra value. It is impossible to overvalue that. We get Lost Soul Buddy. Check him out now. I'll probably end up forgetting him in the secret room, let's be honest, but I'll try my best not to. And there's not going to be a Sacrum on here. So the reason why I don't want to use the Satanic Bible, again, is because I do not want to get a Devil Deal item from the boss. And we know that we're going to get a Devil Deal here anyway because we have a Joker card. And we can go back and pick up that other one. Yeah, those of you who didn't watch today's Mega Bonk video, you should. Unless if you have epilepsy, then don't. It's intense. I'll say that. Another tiers upgrade here. Ooh, I mean, we gotta go for duality and for the angel deals here. We do have a Guppy item, but this presents itself as a much more interesting play, I think. And I'm gonna go back and go grab the Joker card, the second one that we didn't pick up thanks to Contract from Below. Boink. So we can really gigapump this Filigree Feather play now. I'm looking forward to this. Force of the Lost right after we got Treasure Map, of course. Predictable as the day rising from the east. Yep. I had another instance of Sinvicta customer service issues. Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful delivery trip, which started at HEB on a Sunday morning aboard this Hungary breakfast ship. I placed a delivery order for groceries, as I did not feel like going out to the store because I had football to watch. And I ordered lately. I've been really into eggs. And I'm not talking about Northern Lion. I'm talking about eggs. Like, eggs are just a superfood. They're so good, and there's so many ways you can prepare them. And one of my favorite breakfasts is, whether I'm in shape or not in shape, I absolutely love boiled eggs. Boiled eggs and oatmeal with like a big glass of milk. Hey, I'm happy. You got yourself a happy me. Okay. So I've been going through eggs more and more, and I'm trying to watch my cholesterol, so I don't eat too many yolks, and don't add a whole bunch of salt or anything to them. But I like to have a little bit of salty, like whether I'm having like a bowl of cereal or oatmeal. It's sweet and salty. I gotta have it, and then the milk is just a nice finisher. So I decided that I'm gonna order 2 18 cartons of eggs, right? So 36 eggs, because that should last me for a while, and I don't necessarily want to order groceries every single time I need them because it's just insanely expensive. But on the days that I do order groceries for the house, then I either go get them or I just have them delivered. So I ordered the eggs, and something told me, I don't know why. I don't know if this was just intuition or if I just was feeling like I was gonna get trolled or something. Something told me that I was going to have a problem with my delivery. I don't know what it was. So, knowing that, I waited for my delivery. It got delivered a little bit later than usual for HEB. Usually, HEB delivery drivers deliver either right on time or like 10 minutes early. So, but this one was actually late. It was past the point of the delivery time. So, I was already kind of like, okay, what's going to happen here? So I get my groceries, put everything in the fridge, put everything in the freezer, and I was hungry. I hadn't eaten, I had not eaten breakfast this morning, and I was like, man, I'm just craving eggs. Like I want to have an egg. So I opened up the cartons, and if you want to take a wild guess, what happened? I'm sure you've already figured it out by now. Multiple eggs were cracked. So I was like, okay, look, I'm the guy who I won't send back food. It has to be egregiously wrong for me to send back food, right? I used to be a waiter, I used to be a bartender. Look, I'm understanding. Okay, breakage happens. And so 2 eggs that I could see were already visibly cracked. And the problem was that it was the eggs on the outside of the carton. Now, what this means is there's only one of 2 possibilities that happened. Either A, they were already cracked when they were being placed on the shelves in the store, or B, the delivery driver just dropped them and then just FO'd. So guess which one it was? Because after I saw that, I was like, okay, well, now I have to inspect every egg, which takes time out of my morning and it prevents me from eating my eggs because now I have to sit back and do quality control of my own dang eggs that I just ordered so I could have some eggs for breakfast for these eggs. I started checking them, and I get to 2 eggs, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, finally 8. There were 8 cracked eggs out of the 18 that I ordered in this one carton. So to me, that's beyond tolerance, right? That's ridiculous. And I'm not talking about they had like maybe little hairline fractures in the shell or anything. I'm talking about full on opened up cracked. Like yolk sitting in there in the carton and just making a mess, right? So then my attention goes to the second carton of eggs, which I ordered and paid for, like any red-blooded American. And guess what was in there? More cracked eggs. A grand total of 5 in the second carton. So at this point, I'm pretty pissed. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna sugarcoat it. I was pretty pissed. Like, all right, dude, come on. Like, seriously? Seriously, you're gonna drop the eggs. You know they're eggs. Everyone knows what eggs are. How are you just gonna drop it on the floor, right? And I went back and looked at my security camera, and sure enough, yeah, he just dropped it all. Thankfully, the gallon of milk didn't burst like it did last time when a delivery driver did that, and I had to wash the entire front porch of my house. There's just dried milk everywhere. We get ants down here as well, so your boy wasn't happy. And so I decided to call HEB because at that point, if it was like 2 or 3, look, I can deal with it. Like I said, I'm understanding. Believe it or not, I'm pretty patient and understanding and just laid back when it comes to that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff right there, I'm not. That was easily, that brimstone beam was not there. So I called HEB and I explained to the nice lady who answered. I just said, hey, I just placed an order like 20 minutes ago. It got delivered, and the delivery driver dropped from almost standing level my bags, which had 2 cartons of 18 eggs in them each. And I counted, and there were 15 eggs out of the 36 that were broken. I'd like to have a refund. And she was like, oh no, that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. We need to... We took damage there from Bloms, by the way. She said that she needed to review it with her manager, blah, 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 and then you know, it'd be a minute or 2. I said, that's fine. So I made sure to tell the customer service agent, I said, hey, I'm not looking for free food. I'm not looking for a handout. I don't need a full refund. I think it's fair to ask for just one of the cartons to be refunded, right? I mean, 15 eggs, right? 15 were gone. Or 13, not 15. 13 eggs were broken. So, and I always make sure in these situations that the person I'm dealing with, or customer service or manager or whatever, I want them to know I'm not looking for a handout, right? Because there's all types of scams that go on with people saying, oh, waiter, I found a fly in my food, or oh, my fries they tasted gross. I want a full comp. You know, like I'm not like that. And she said, no, that's fine. I totally get it. It's all good. And so I often hope that kind of honesty will get rewarded in a way. I don't know. Like maybe it's selfish to think that just for being honest you should be rewarded. But I did get the refund on the eggs, and after this happened, I asked myself, because I was just kind of miffed at the whole thing. I asked myself, I was like, you know what? I wonder how many eggs would have to be broken before it becomes unacceptable for me, for my own personal ones. And that's the question that I posed in the mosh pit today. That's your question of the episode to answer in the comments. In this situation, I always like to anticipate and believe that there's more good than bad out there in people, especially in the mosh pit. I think that most, if not all, people listening to this would have probably felt the same. I think asking for one of the 2 18 egg cartons for a refund is fair, since a majority of one was the equivalent of just over 3/4 of a carton were damaged or destroyed by negligence. And you know, I tried to give the benefit of the doubt to a Devil Deal. Guppy's paw. I'm gonna have to drop. I'm gonna drop the filigree feather so we can walk over to Guppy's paw and take it, so we don't accidentally take Little Horn. There's no reason for us to use Guppy's paw. In fact, I think we can just take the Satanic Bible and walk over. Yeah, so I don't have to drop the trinket. Good. We need damage. Our tears rate's still higher than our damage. So that's the question that I posed in the mosh pit to you all. In this situation, assuming that everyone was a good person and you wanted to get fair compensation, I think it's more than fair to at least ask for compensation. And you know, and you were able to get it. You know, these brimstone beams lasting on the screen are doing my head in. How many eggs would it take you before it was an unacceptable level of breakage out of 36? Due to delivery driver incompetence or negligence. You know, I tried to give the benefit of the doubt, like maybe this person just didn't happen to look at the eggs, but I know, and everyone I know, if you buy eggs at the store, what's the first thing you do? You open up the carton, check to see if there's any that are broken. That's just eggs 101, right? So I don't know anyone in the world that wouldn't at least check it. And in my mind, I was like, okay, so it makes this dude at the very least negligible. Or at the very least, you know, an idiot for not at least checking the eggs before he bought it and took it out of the shelves, the refrigerator. And at the very worst, negligible because he knowingly just dropped eggs from an almost standing height onto concrete. And I went with the latter, obviously, because again, I saw it happen. I'm going to estimate that people would probably say 5. Most people, I think, would say 5 was the limit, right? 1 broken egg, hey, you kind of expect it. 2 broken eggs, it sucks. Whatever. 3 broken eggs, let's call it a bad roll. 4 broken eggs, okay. You know, 1 more broken egg and I'm at my limit because that's a lot of money and a lot of food to be wasting. And 5 broken eggs, yeah. I'm done. Nope. This is not right. I gotta get this taken care of. I think 5 would be my limit. And I was at 13. And that's another thing too that I was kind of I wasn't look, it only saved me like $4, right? Like I was able to get a $4.30 refund, something like that. Okay, which is not a lot of money in practice, but hey, $1 is $1, right? It's about being right. The thing that I was mad about more was the fact that I had to throw 13 eggs away. You know, and there's probably inherently nothing wrong with the eggs. They're probably safe to eat and everything. It's just the principle. I'm not going to sit here and eat 13 eggs in one sitting. Like, no. You know, and then on top of that, you don't know how long they were cracked. Maybe they were cracked in the store, what kind of bacteria and stuff was getting in there. I mean, you just don't know. And I'm pretty paranoid, especially when it comes to eggs. So I wasn't going to risk it, but I was more upset about just the amount of wasted food there. And then it kind of got me even madder because I was like, you know, 13 eggs, dude, that is almost 5 days worth of eggs for me to eat that I'm just not going to be able to eat now. Finger protection. I'm not going to take Vade Retro. This is what you can see what it does, which is nothing. You know, and I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, that's messed up. You know, that's a lot of good food that I could have had for 4 or 5 days worth of meals. Because I like to eat eggs like 3 or 4 at a time, depending on how hungry I am. Your boy's got to have his protein, you know, especially going through all this physical therapy stuff. You know, I work up an appetite, doing all these stretches and bends and old lady workout stuff. Like it's you know, especially if you're not used to it after being out of shape for a long time. So the moral of the story is be patient, be understanding, but have limits, have boundaries, have a certain point that's okay, this is now beyond my tolerance for things like that. Because I am that dude. Like if I order a medium steak and it comes out a little bit overcooked, look, I'm not gonna send it back. I'm hungry. I don't mind medium well. I don't even mind well done steak, to be honest. If given the right cut and the seasoning's okay. Like look, I'm not a baby. I can handle it. Okay. But if it's really, really rare and just flat out wrong, that I will send something like that back. There was a time when at the time me and my girlfriend went out to a Outback. I think I've told the story before. And the French fries that I got for my steak they were cold. They were straight up just cold. So, and that got me fired up more than if a steak was undercooked or overcooked. Because I mean, it's French fries. How do you let the fries sit out in a established restaurant chain and let them get cold? When I say cold, I mean sitting in the car over a couple of days cold. McDonald's fries, like that's how cold they were. So I actually did send those back, and that was one of those times where I was kind of being a Karen about it a little bit. And I asked the waitress, I said, after I ate one of the fries, when she came back with, I don't know, she had to get something for us for the table. When she came back, I said, hey, do me a favor. Will you just try one of these fries? Because they are not warm at all. And so she did. She actually ate one of the fries, and she said, oh yeah, that's awful. I said, yeah, I'm like, I have to ask for more fries. Like, I'm sorry to have to make you go back to the kitchen to do that. I'm that dude. I'm that guy who sits at the table and apologizes when I've been wronged, because it's inconvenient. As a waiter, I know how much that sucks to have to go back to the kitchen and say, hey, customer said that you did this wrong, it's not cooked properly, whatever. Then you got to argue with the chefs, you got to argue with the cooks, the manager has to approve it and all this stuff. It sucks. Like, it really does suck from a service industry side. But I'm a paying customer. And I'm gonna have my hot French fries with my steak, okay? You gotta have it. If they are lukewarm, you know what? I'll deal with it. I don't mind potatoes. But there is a limit. There's got to be a limit. Now, how does this all incorporate into the Binding of Isaac? Well, I do have my limits in terms of patience with this game. You all have seen it before. You all have made posts about it. Some of you may have even made a Reddit post or two about it. I do have my limits of tolerance with this game and its transgressions against me. And I think it's important to know what those limits are from a commentary side, to know when to just stop saying things about it. Now, it's taken me a long time to get there, because obviously back in the day I was just like, oh, this sucks, I can't believe, like, I would get mad at myself and get mad at the game. And I still do that to a certain degree, but I think that it's definitely gotten way better in the last couple of years. You gotta temper. You gotta temper that temper. I guess we can just take everything here. Not gonna do a victory lap. This run's not particularly great, and also my voice is here getting worse and worse. Run's not bad. I mean, I was able to monologue for 15 minutes talking about eggs. I do love eggs. Eggs are one of those superfoods. There's a short list of superfoods that I personally will like. I know people say, like, oh, kale and chia seeds and, you know, whatever else, and that's fine. I'm talking about stuff that I eat. And the other superfood another superfood I think that is fantastic is peanuts. Most nuts in general I think are great, but honey is probably the definition of a superfood in my opinion anyway. Eggs would be another one. It's just so good. Like, it's good on everything. It has so many practical uses, good health benefits, you know. Gotta be careful with honey, though. It's got a high amount of sugar, obviously, and also it's very acidic. It's not great for your teeth if you're eating just straight up raw honey, which I used to do. I used to go to local bee farm. There's a guy that used to live close to my house back in the day who raised bees, who was like a beekeeper, and actually had local honey, and it was delicious, dude. But I had to stop myself after I found out how acidic honey was. I had to stop doing that because I didn't want to, like, you know, dissolve my teeth. So anyway, that was today's Isaac run. But going back to the question of the episode, or not the question of the episode, but the new like streak goal, everyone. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to see that hit. I want to see how accurate I could be with some items. I don't know how many items I'm going to draw. It's really up to the Mosh Pit here on YouTube. We'll do that for a fun stream. Should be a lot of fun. Who knows? Maybe we'll get 7 in a row and we'll just rip it next week. So thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great start to your Monday here. Good luck at Monday Night Football if your teams are playing. And thank you very much for the support on the Mega Bonk series, along of course with the continued support on the Isaac series. As always, I'll see you all next time. Until then, so long, everybody. I'm going to go rest my voice. Thanks for watching this video. Like, thanks to patrons of mine like Buy Donuts, Kylie Smith, Shay Dotan, and Julian Cash. If you'd like to have your name read at the end of an Isaac episode, check out my Patreon campaign, which you can find over at patreon.com/Invicta. Now I'm going to go rest my voice.